Welcome to Mythbusters Dyslexia Edition. My name is Dr. Kathryn Garforth.
And I am Dr. Jan Hasbrouck.
Dyslexia myth. Intelligence, or IQ, is related to dyslexia. The belief that students with dyslexia have low IQs or that students with high IQs cannot have dyslexia. This is definitely something that we see out there in the schools and in society, and it's really troubling, especially when we get to the higher and the lower ends of the intelligence spectrum, right? You have kids that are extremely intelligent and able to mask the symptoms of dyslexia with various coping strategies, especially if they have a really good memory and they're able to memorize, right?
Very true.
So they're not learning how to read the word, they've memorized it. And then they hit that wall in grade 3 or 4 where they can't. And when the words get more complex and they're being asked to read so many more new words, that you're realizing that no, actually they couldn't read, right? And it comes into the instructional things when we're dealing with predictable texts, right? So if you're reading with a child that has a strong memory component and is very good at deducing things, they can get corrected at the sentence the first time they read the page and know that that sentence starter is going to be for the rest of the book on every other page. And they just need to look to the picture for cues and they'll have a pretty good chance of getting it right. And then we also see these issues when we come to the gifted programs in schools, where individuals that have a learning disability and are gifted, or some people consider this twice exceptional, they're not being supported for the dyslexia, even though they have the gift in math or sciences. And they can do that level of work, but they can't get the support. And then when we have the lower end of the spectrum, they can still have the problems with, classic dyslexia symptoms, with the phonological awareness, with the decoding. And just because they have quote unquote low IQ or low intelligence doesn't mean that they can't learn those skills. So for so long at the beginning, when it came to diagnosis, we were looking at the achievement ability discrepancy. So you wanted that deviation between the IQ score and the ability that they're having in their reading and their spelling. The problem that we have here is that the problems that individuals have with dyslexia can hinder the results of their IQ because of the tasks that they're being asked to achieve, right? And if they have problems with processing speed or working memory, this is going to affect their IQ score, that when given the time and the materials in advance, they could do no problem.
Yeah, it is complicated. It's complicated on many levels. Measuring, as you say, measuring IQ is very problematic for many reasons. So that discrepancy formula that we've relied on for a long time does not serve many of our students well, and not our students with dyslexia. The research that has accumulated over the last several decades, this is again one of the areas where there is a lot of convergence of agreement among researchers that IQ does not play a role in dyslexia, high or low. Dyslexia is completely separate from what we would call intelligence.
Yeah, and the other thing, even though we have a struggling reader, they may not have the diagnostic criteria of dyslexia, but they're going to likely benefit from the same intervention.
That is such an important message. That is also one of the areas where there's a lot of a growing amount of convergence of agreement among researchers, I would say. There are still people who, for a variety of reasons, believe that there's a specialized and different way to teach our children with dyslexia. But I think, to me, the research is compelling that would say to us, we have kind of figured out how to teach kids to read. We know what the components are. And the difference is not how we do it. And certainly it's not what we do, because we know the brain turns into a reading brain through basically one process, no matter what language you speak, anything else. But the how is not that, oh, we do some things really differently for kids with dyslexia than not. It's that this idea that good instruction is good instruction. Some children are just going to need very little of it, and some are going to need a lot, provided by skillful, patient people who are there to give them as much time as they need, as much practice as they need. But yeah, we don't teach them differently.
Well, and another thing that I think might be worth mentioning here is that when we look at the individual's profile, we can see their different areas of weakness.
Yes.
And we can focus the instruction on their areas of weakness, as well as understanding the order in which these skills need to develop. So if you put a child that has dyslexia in an intervention that's not targeting the skills that they need,
Yes.
it's not going to work.
Yes.
No matter how much you do of it, because it's not focusing on the areas that they're really struggling with. And if they don't have the foundation of, understanding what letters are, being able to identify them and the sounds that they make, putting them at a higher level intervention is not going to help them because they don't have the basics.
Yeah. That's a common error we see in schools, is that they measure reading outcome as comprehension, which is absolutely correct. That is the outcome we're trying to get to. But when children struggle with comprehension, the mistake is intervening with comprehension. There can be those the contributors to a lack of comprehension at the word level. Yes, we misidentify and mistarget our instruction too often.
And that's very frustrating for everyone involved.
It is, yes, everyone.